How's it going, everyone? It's Drago, and we're back with another chapter of Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest, chapter 72, Moonlit Beauty Gods. So, this was quite the chapter to end on for the year of 2020. Our chapter cover is a New Year's cover, and I quite like this cover because it is Lucy and Taurus, painting. I don't know entirely what they're doing, but it's like the almost looks like Chinese New Year style or whatever. Like Lucy's wearing a kimono. Same thing with Taurus and whatnot, and it's got like a little message about New Year's about it too. So it's I really like this cover, and it's a nice cover for the beginning of 2021. The chapter picks up with Ferris searching for everyone, wondering where everyone is because she got separated from the group. And since she can't find anyone, she's like, okay, I'm going to go to the Whiteout Temple. And she basically says that that is the home of where like the whiteout priestesses live, and that she wants to go there to find the grand whiteout priestess because she might be able to help them in their fight. Who knows? They show the grand whiteout priestess, but it's in silhouette, so we actually have no idea who it is and or / what their abilities are. So then we pick up with Lucy fighting Mimi in this majority of this chapter. And the beginning of this fight here, you know, when they're like punching or whatever, like Mimi or whatever is like chest sexy, you know, like pointing out body parts or saying how things are too sexy and stuff. He isn't entirely looking away or being all like scaredy whatever that she was in previous chapters, so I guess she's gotten over it. And like, is she like, she's a girl, but like, is she into Lucy? Because like one of her lines is like, such a splendid girl. Like, what? But like, oh my goodness, like Lucy got absolutely outclassed by this chick. Like pretty much any attack she does, she just immediately null and void, counter. Like Lucy can legit do nothing to this girl. So the beginning of this fight, she is in the Taurus star dress, and you know, she's just trying to punch her, and that's not going down very well because she does like this like air cannon thing, and it launches her, and she like swings on a tree, which is kind of cool because then that swing on the tree, she changes her star dresses like halfway through the swing, and she goes to the Aquarius star dress. And like, you could tell Lucy is really trying, and she like, even though she hardcore lost, you could tell she's putting in the effort and she's really trying to win, and that you can see how much she's kind of grown as a celestial mage. Like she used to, you know, only be able to summon one spirit, then the two, then she unlocks star dress and all that, and you know, like she's swapping like crazy. She's swapping star dresses like crazy during this fight. You know, she's really trying, you can tell. So Lucy switches to the Aquarius star dress, and she does a attack called Aquametria. Again, Mimi's the absolute counter. She just like straight up opens her mouth and like drinks it. She kind of does like what Natsu does with fire, just like any fire that comes toward, like instantly all gets sucked into his mouth, which Lucy's freaking out. Like she drank it? Like, what? You drank it? And then even Mimi's reply was, oh yes, it's very mineral rich water. Like, who the fuck drinks this attack? What? And then she does an immovable fist, and that absolutely slams Lucy. Like, you see her getting pushed back in one big panel, but there's a little small panel, and it's like her just like getting pushed through like dozens of trees. Like, so you know that thing had to hit hard, man. And you know, again, Lucy's really smart again, because she as she's flying through the air, she just does Gate of the White Ram Ares, you know, to cushion her fall with the wool of Ares. So yeah, Lucy gets saved by Ares's wool, and you know, she's all apologizing. Ares like, I hope I could serve you better. And then Mimi immediately points out, like, she's like, oh, this girl, she can control yokai like Yuko. And then Ares is like, I'm not a yokai. I'm sorry. I'm a celestial spirit. We'll get into that more at the end here. Oh, and I talk about things and thoughts on the end of the chapter, because I'll talk about the yokai celestial spirit stuff. We'll get to that. So we shall continue on with the chapter. So Lucy's having Ares counter. She does wool bomb. Amy's like, oh man, it feels so good. Ooh. And again, Lucy ain't playing around. She Wool Bomb followed by Scorpio, So Scorpio's attack doesn't exactly have a name. I'm just going to guess it's the Sand Blaster that he usually does. It kind of looks like it. Again, Mimi is having none of it. Like, none of this stuff is phasing her. By the way, all of her moves have a movable first, and then, like, fist. This next attack was Hurricane. And, she's getting whipped away. And then Lucy calls out, and we haven't seen this boy in a while. She calls out Capricorn. So, Capricorn, she immediately notices that he has good martial arts skills. And, Capricorn was the only one that somewhat put up a fight. Like, he still gets slapped, but like you can tell, like, her power was way too much for Capricorn, because like anytime he punched, like, he could really feel it, like, and anytime he punched it, it's like, let me baby slap you. And she takes Capricorn and she freaking karate chops him into the ground. And then Mimi was being pretty freaking insulting here. She's like, oh, Capricorn, it's not you that lack the skill. No. Or the strength. No. It was your summoner. They lack strength. That's why you can't beat me. And Capricorn immediately gets back up, and he's going very formal. His milady is still maturing. And, Mimi isn't having any of that, because she's like, your strength's getting wasted, Capricorn. If you had a stronger summoner, you'd be able to use your strength to the fullest, but you're being held back all the time. And I do like this. It shows how much Lucy's spirits really care for her, because it has Capricorn saying, to be able to serve me lady is a blessing. And Mimi does like an attack to finish them all off, and Lucy's kind of shocked. I guess her saying that kind of maybe made her doubt herself, which she shouldn't really doubt herself too much, but like, she literally says this as like a question of, my strength is connected to my power. And then Mimi immediately goes on about her Moonlit Beauty God partner, Yuko, to where her summoning abilities, the stronger she is, the stronger her yokai are. Which, yeah, I didn't even know that she was technically a summoner. I thought it was just magic, like she doesn't hold any keys or anything. But I guess it could be a different form of holder magic. Because for Lucy, I always thought it was like her bonds was what made it, her spirit stronger. But I get they're trying to get her to like doubt that. I don't know. I legit feel bad for Lucy in this chapter, man, because she really doubts herself then, because she's like, even though I can summon my spirits without my keys now, I'm still not strong enough. And, you can see her look really upset with herself, which is like, no, you unlock Star Dress. Oh my goodness, you mega powered up now, but like, even though you still haven't had formal training, like, and when in fighting, but like, you're still like quite powerful, dude. And Mimi doesn't freaking care. She just freaking blasts her immediately. And then Mimi just immediately just goes over her and is like, you require discipline. And this is the last little bit with Lucy. She's practically like crying. And she's like, I thought I was doing my best in my own way, but my power is still so weak. And, you can tell her like she's like defeated right now. So yeah, Lucy, all of her spirits are basically down, and she's down. Then we cut over to Gray and Natsu, and they're still fighting Haikun, and both Natsu and Gray are like, Natsu's like, what's her magic power? It's like a blizzard around them practically. And Gray just has a really shocked look on his face, and he's like, it's cold. Her magic power is freezing. So Haikun does this attack called Diamond Effect, and she kind of almost does like a dancer move. And it like makes all these ice shards, and they like attach themselves to Gray and Natsu, which I'm actually very surprised it attached to Gray, because I thought he was kind of like immune to ice now, and like, wouldn't he be able to just like straight up eat it? because he has Demon Slayer powers, and Natsu's freaking out because he can't use his fire, and Gray is like, no way, dude, my ice resist is better than most people, and Happy just is screaming in the background being frozen. So she actually explains what this attack is. It isn't actually magic. Now I don't know if entirely this translation I got was all 100% accurate, but from the translation I got, this is the description of this. My spirit arts freeze, magic power, curse powers, spiritual arts, indeed any power that cannot be seen. So Gray and Natsu went down like really freaking easy, man. They got frozen just straight up. Like, they didn't even get an attack in. Like, they immediately went down. And she freezes him, walks over to him. She's like, such a lovely gentleman. May you sleep in eternal peace. And it just cuts to a shot with all of Team Natsu defeated. They're like, I never thought this would actually happen. Everyone's done. So then we cut back to Cylene, and she is, my. They couldn't even defeat my Moonlit Beauty Gods. They weren't interesting at all. So she kind of does something kind of interesting right here, because she goes, I want to distort them more. So it's almost like she wants to take Team Natsu and like experiment on them or mess them up. So she must have some connection to all of her Moonlit Beauty Gods, because she just like thinks it in her mind or whatever, and she's like, listen up, Moonlit Beauty Gods, I don't want you to kill any of them. Bring them to me, because I had a great idea. It will be a cruel and delightful party. And that is the end of our chapter. So going into my thoughts on things, I never actually thought we'd get a chapter to where Team Natsu loses very hardcore. Like, actually all of them basically could have died right here. Especially everyone's defeated, like literally everyone. Ferris could technically save them with the Grand Whiteout Priestess, but who knows on that. Now with Lucy, I think this is kind of foreshadowing and the rest of the team that we are going to maybe get a training arc for them to realize, if we can't even bring down Cylene, we need to buff ourselves up. Like, we actually need to train, because in our current states we can't defeat all these guys, which would be a different change of pace for Fairy Tail, because we have never had a training arc. Yes, we kind of had one before Grand Magic Games, but that was played as a joke. So I would be down for a training arc, and I do think this is kind of foreshadowing that Lucy will get new forms. And I'm actually surprised during her fight with Mimi she didn't whip out a combination star dress. I would have thought that Lucy would have did that, because she did it before, so why can't she do it now? I'm hoping this leads to a bigger power up for Lucy, or maybe she does get formal training now with someone to make her a stronger fighter, because I think she really kind of doubts herself now to where she wants to become stronger. Now, what that stronger could be, I have no idea. Will she find Aquarius or get more keys? Who knows if that could be it. Will she learn more tactics, like maybe the spiritual arts stuff with the Yukai? Now, when Mimi was talking about Yuko and Yukai and then comparing it to Lucy, I think those are separate things, because Lucy's is celestial magic and she's calling it Yukai. Don't remember when Yuko was in the chapters if she was holding anything to summon those guys. I do not remember in the slightest. But, you know, for Lucy, most of the time she has to hold a key, but, you know, now she doesn't entirely have to, but, you know, in most of the time. So do I actually think that for the celestial magic it's tied to the power of the wielder? Maybe a tad bit, because, you know, when you had to open up like the Zodiac or like to use certain powers or stuff, you have to had enough magic power within your body to power that, you know? So you had to have the magic to back it up, to power up some of those attacks. But I know with Lucy also, her spirits get a bit stronger as well, with the stronger her bonds get with them. Because, you know, like when she first has a contract, maybe they can only show up on like Friday. But like the more stronger she builds that bond, she can maybe eventually summon them whenever she wants, you know? So for Lucy, maybe it's a dual act. Maybe the stronger her bonds get, the stronger her spirits get as well. But also the stronger she gets, maybe the stronger her spirits get as well. So she can kind of do a dual thing of maybe getting stronger with her spirits. I don't know how well the other people are going to take them actually losing, because Gray and Natsu haven't particularly lost many fights. Wendy's kind of always doubted herself as well, so Wendy and Lucy might be in the same boat of thinking that they're not strong enough. And Urza, she, like, you look at her fight with like Tartaros when she lost, but she got like hardcore humiliated. She didn't take that very well at all. So everyone could be very much doubting themselves to where I'm saying they have to do like a training arc. This was a bummer chapter. I thought we were actually going to have him win a few fights for the end of 2020, but no. End of 2020, you're going to end it really badly for the team, aka the whole team is like basically could have been on the verge of death. I really like this chapter, even though everyone lost. I think it's going to build up Lucy a lot, but that's just me. What are your guys' thoughts? This is probably the last video of 2020, so goodbye 2020. And Happy New Year, everyone. This is Drago signing off.